We generally think of mutton as extremely elaborate or time consuming, but with today's recipe, I'm going to break that myth. Well, today's recipe is not only spicy, but it's also creamy at the same time. Of course, the hero ingredient here are chilies and cashews. Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay Chef Varun Namdar, and welcome to Get Curried. Let's begin with mutton cashew curry. Well, first things first for this is to make a paste. But for that, we need to roast cashew nuts and chilies. I'm not going to use oil while roasting because the natural oil from the cashew nuts as well as a little bit of oil from the chilies is enough for the roasting. Now, I'm going to add in two varieties of chilies. The first one is the Kashmiri red chili, which is for its brilliant fiery red color. And then is the Bedgi chili for its smokiness and earthiness. Let's add this in. When the cashews and chilies get beautifully charred, in a way, just kind of begin to get charred, we'll transfer this straight in the grinder. Now, generally, whenever I use grinding as a process, I always tell you to cool down the ingredients before grinding, because there are two things that work here. One, the ingredient by itself is hot in nature, and second, there's a little motor here which also kind of gets worked up and gets hot. Now, to control all of this, we're going to add in one magic ingredient, cubes of ice. Next is adding in the other couple of ingredients, beginning with roughly cut tomatoes, knob of ginger, which I'm just kind of roughly cutting. The next is adding in some cloves of garlic, like literally a handful of cloves, coriander leaves, and finally some fresh green chilies. Now you may wonder, Kashmiri chilies, Bedgi chilies, and fresh green chilies. Try it and then let's see. Let's grind this into an absolutely fine and smooth paste. Let's do that. With this, our paste is done nice and smooth. And the next thing, very simple. Sauteing the onions and cooking the mutton. Simple. Let's begin the recipe with regular vegetable oil. Well, in this recipe, you could also add in ghee or mustard oil because that also kind of tastes wonderfully well with something like this. The only thing is with mustard oil, it gets a little bit of a smoky element. With ghee, it becomes richer because also remember that there is cashew nut in the gravy. Now, there's one very important thing that you need to kind of understand here, and that is the addition of oil. How much oil? The choice is yours because you need to understand that meat also has its own fat, which eventually will become a layer of oil or fat. Remember that. The oil is heated up. Let's add in sliced onions. And immediately to this, let's add in cut meat or mutton. Let's add in two very important ingredients at this stage. The first one, of course, is salt, because when you add salt at the cooking stage, it kind of seeps in, and that is very important. To this, let's also add in some turmeric powder. Let's give this a quick stir and ensure that the meat kind of sears on all the sides. And while that's happening, you'll realize and notice that the onions also begin to cook wonderfully well. While the meat is getting seared on high flame, let's simultaneously also keep some water to heat. It's important to ensure certain few things while cooking mutton. The temperature is very important. Now that we are searing this, it's gone up several notches in temperature. Suddenly when you add in cold water or water which is lukewarm or at room temperature, it'll start dropping. We do not want that to happen, and that's the reason why we add in hot stock or hot water. Very important. The meat has well seared. Let's add in the paste which is ground and ready. Let's mix this well. Well, this is the time when scraping the sides and the bottom becomes very important. because of cashew nuts. Well, cashew nuts are very creamy by nature and they have a tendency of going and sticking right at the bottom of the pan. Also, ginger could be a culprit. Keep scraping till this kind of releases its own natural fat and the oil that we've added from the sides of the pan. Oil has started releasing sides of the pan. Let's add in the boiling water. Let's give this a quick stir. We need to cover this and let it cook for 40 to 45 minutes on medium flame covered. The whole idea here is to ensure that the meat is perfectly cooked. It's been 45 minutes. Let's quickly check the doneness of the meat. Well, this is perfectly cooked. The last ingredient that goes in is also a pack of flavor, and that is garam masala. One quick stir. With this, off goes the flame, and this straight goes in the serving bowl. Now you can eat this with steamed rice, with naan, with roti, with paratha, with lacha. The list just goes on and on and on. What more do I say? For such quick, simple, easy and stunning recipes, stay tuned to Get Curried. Bye for now.